Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt.
All right, Rice-Eccles Stadium, the 43rd consecutive sellout here in Salt Lake City, and we're ready to watch one of the best teams in America as 4th-ranked Washington comes into town undefeated to take on the 17th-ranked Utah Utes. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my partner Joel Klatt, and welcome to Salt Lake City, where the Washington Huskies come in with an undefeated record, a 41-17 win last week against Oregon State in Seattle. And one thing about Chris Peterson's teams, you know that he's going to have a great quarterback, and he has a surgeon running the show for him this year.
Jake Browning is amazing, and Jake Browning loves your purple tie as well today.
I wasn't thinking, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Sorry. Don't get all over him on Twitter, because Jake Browning's going to play regardless of the color of tie Gus has. Jake Browning is phenomenal. Listen, there's a reason why he's right now second in the Heisman to Lamar Jackson. It's because he can get the ball down the field on time and do it accurately. This guy is a threat from the pocket. He's playing better than maybe any pocket passer in the game. I love how he manipulates the defense, gets open spaces down the field, and then attacks that with accuracy. This guy, point blank, is putting himself in position to not only go to New York, but potentially win the Heisman Trophy. He's playing that well.
All right, as for Utah, they're coming off a big win against UCLA last week in Pasadena. They're getting back to playing Kyle Whittingham-type football.
That's right.
Physical, smash mouth, and they have a guy in the backfield that is no average Joe.
I love watching this guy play. Joe Williams, the running back, has been sensational in the last couple of weeks. Remember, he retired for a chunk of the season due to injuries, getting himself right mentally, and he's been sensational the last couple of weeks, in large part due to what the offensive line has been doing. Watch him cover up not only the defensive linemen, but then with the pulling guard and tackle, they get targeted on the second level, the linebackers, and then here's the kicker. Joe Williams has the speed to run away from any defensive back in the country at nearly 20 miles an hour. This kid is sensational.
This series dates back to 1931. Washington leads it, but the Utes won the last one in Seattle 34-23 behind a defense that forced 4 turnovers. And they are fired up here in Utah. They think that this can be a season-defining game, and the Utes have taken the field. Close to 50,000 ready to watch. 2 top 20 teams, the Utah Utes against the Washington Huskies, coming up next. And welcome back to FS1 College Football, presented by Verizon. Rice-Eccles Stadium, SLC, and we're all ready to join the 3rd member of our team on the sideline, Shannon Spake.
Well, hey there, Gus. You know, 20 months ago, Utah quarterback Troy Williams, he was wearing purple. He transferred from Washington to Santa Monica College, and he told his teammates at that time, don't worry about me, I'll be back. He's been looking forward to this game ever since, and today for Williams, it's more about playing smart, but it's more about playing with that emotion, controlling that emotion, 2 sides of that emotion for him. On one side, he still considers a lot of the guys on this Washington team very close friends, spent about 10 minutes catching up with them pregame. On the other side is how things went down with Chris Peterson. Williams told us yesterday he doesn't have any hard feelings for Peterson, but it's certainly added motivation.
All right, Utah won the toss, deferred, Washington receiving the football. And this ball kicked out of bounds. So Washington and Jake Browning will start from the 35.
Certainly not how you want to start the game for Utah, giving some free yardage here.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
All right, let's check out the 4 keys to the game. Joel, what do you got?
For Washington, I think it's imperative early that they take the shot down the field. Marcus Williams, the very good safety for Utah, not in this game. So allow Jake Browning to go down the field. For Utah, you got to keep forcing turnovers like they have all season long. And trick or treat. Halloween is on Monday, and both of these coaches love to pull out the trick play. Which one gets to it first in this big matchup?
The Huskies have scored a touchdown on their first possession in 6 of 7 games this year. First down and 10. And they'll hand it off to Gaskin. He runs left and is ambushed. Tautioli hopping on his back. And there's going to be an interesting battle between that front seven of the Utes and this Washington offensive line.
Well, and they get a guy back. Utah does. Sunia Tautioli, number 19, makes the tackle on the first play. They did not have him a week ago against UCLA. Very glad to have him back now.
Gain of 2 on first down, 2nd and 8 at the 37. Myles Gaskin in the backfield with Browning. And they'll hand it off to him running left, looking for a hole, and he has one, stumbles forward. It'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down. Myles Gaskin, what a terrific young player.
He's got that speed that makes you hold your breath when he gets a crease, and he almost had the crease there in the last play, just got tripped up. But as it stands now, Jake Browning faces his first 3rd down of the game.
He's averaging 103 yards a game, 20th nationally. 3rd down and 2 at the 43. Jamon Dotson, number 10, checks in the backfield. Opening series for UW. And they pitch it to Dotson, trying to get outside, and he will not. Tackled at the 40-yard line, low to Lele. And Washington will punt.
Lolo Tulele is one of the best defensive tackles in America. Now, he's been battling a shoulder injury, so he hasn't been 100%. They think he's back to that point now. A freshman All-American a couple of years ago, an All-American candidate. Now, this guy is fantastic, and you see why right there. The penetration and the disruption in the backfield for Washington.
Tristan Vizcaino will punt it away for Washington. Angles it toward the near side, end-over-end punt. And will be downed at the 20-yard line. So that brings on Troy Williams, the starting quarterback for Utah. Young man from Carson, California, started his career as a Steve Sarkisian recruit at Washington. Chris Peterson ended up getting the job when Sarkisian left to go to USC. He wanted to get his own guy. Williams transferred to Santa Monica Junior College. Had a great year last season. Now he's in Utah.
And ever since he stepped foot off of that campus up in Seattle, he's been thinking, Gus, about this moment right here.
First down and 10 at the 20. Joe Williams, the running back. And they'll give it, no, over the middle, first play of the game. That ball batted down at the line of scrimmage. Keyshawn Bierria got a hand on the football.
And this is one of those guys that Shannon was speaking of that Troy Williams considers like a brother. Keyshawn Bierria, also from Carson, California. He's having a phenomenal season. Very athletic player and very instinctive from his linebacker position.
The area leads the nation in fumble recoveries with 5. 2nd and 10. Joe Williams running right, cuts it back, and is chopped down at the 21-yard line. Psalm Wuching coming up and making the play.
Yeah, Psalm Wuching is a guy that Sarkisian to Chris Peterson, but he has matured and he is having a great senior season. To have a special year, your seniors have to play their best. Sam Wuching is doing that for the Huskies.
3rd down, 9 at the 21. Empty backfield for Troy Williams. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Here's Williams. Steps up in the pocket, in trouble. Makes the first man miss, wants to run it. And he picks up the first down. One thing about Troy Williams, he's 6'2", 200 pounds. He's got some swift feet.
I love what he's able to do because he doesn't always choose to run right away. Gus, as he scoots up in the pocket right there, that's a great make you miss, and then he's going to keep his eyes downfield, fake a little pump fake, and get the first down. Excellent first series here in the first set of chains for Troy Williams. That run is going to settle him down.
Last week against UCLA, 12 of 24, 179, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He did have a rushing touchdown. First down at the 32. And they'll give it to Williams. Williams popping through the hole. And Joe Williams crosses the 40, gets up to the 42. An injured player on the offensive line getting up slowly as Buda Baker and JoJo McIntosh combine on the tackle.
That was Sam Tevy, who's going to hop off the field, number 52. And so they're going to bring in Jackson Barton, number 70. Tevy is their starting right tackle. He's been very good the last couple of weeks. That offensive line, which struggled early in the year, has been fantastic the last couple of weeks, opening up big holes for Joe Williams. We saw that on the last play.
You give a lot of credit to Nick Nowakowski.
That kid is fantastic. The center, he's a former walk-on, a fourth-string center. He's provided a lot of stability.
Here's the option. Williams turns the corner and picks up the first down. Flag on the play, maybe a late hit against UW.
I thought it was maybe going to be a holding, actually, Gus, on the outside against Tyrone Smith, number 21. Wide receiver. Just got way too much of the jersey of Kevin King.
Holding, offense number 21. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Tyrone Smith, sophomore from Fresno. He's going to come in the left side of your screen. He's working against number 20, Kevin King, and right there you see the hold. Pretty clear, easy call for the official. And that's going to present a much more difficult here second down opportunity. Those times when you move the chains and then get that taken away from you, those are big moments, in particular against this Washington team.
Opening series for Utah. Third down. Make that second down and 8. And Williams underneath and knocked away. Buda Baker. All-America candidate with 2 hands on the football.
Jabril Peppers is going to get a lot of attention as one of the best safeties in the country. I think Buda Baker is right there as far as a playmaking defensive player. That was an unbelievable read. Great reaction. Quickly to the ball. Probably should have had that one and been in the end zone right now.
Jim Thorpe Award semifinalist this season. Third down and 8 for Utah. Joe Williams with some success running the football early. Troy Williams, he'll throw it underneath and almost intercepted. JoJo McIntosh with a line on the football, and the Utes will have to punt it away.
And now you understand why that penalty was such a big deal. You get behind the chains against this Washington team and get into obvious passing situations, and it's very difficult.
So Dante Pettis back deep at the 21-yard line. Mitch Wisnowski will stand at his own 20 and punt. Angled toward the far side. Fair caught at the 10-yard line. A 55-yard punt. So coming up, Jake Browning has not attempted a pass. You get the feeling it's coming. Here are the Go RV exciting sounds from Utah's beautiful campus here in Salt Lake City and the exciting atmosphere at Rice-Eccles Stadium.
You know, we've been here quite a bit the last couple of years. You like it so much, you came here last Sunday. You were here all week.
That's right. Hanging out with my boys, Dr. John Miller, Dr. Kyle Christensen, Devin DeLynn gave me a golf lesson.
Did they help?
No. First down and 10 at the 12-yard line for Washington. Devon Coleman in the backfield. Here's Browning to throw for the first time. Scrambles out of the pocket, trying to square his shoulders, throws, and out of bounds.
26-2 touchdown to interception ratio. I always thought that was the most important number for a quarterback. Does he take care of the football, and does he threaten the defense with points? Nobody does that better than Jake Browning. Terrific player. One thing the Utah defensive coaches told us yesterday is they think that Jake is a terrific player, but he can get a little antsy. That pressure is going to be so important from the down 4 linemen to try to get him off of his spot and disrupt his timing. Second down and 10 at the 12-yard line. Browning in the shotgun. Fires to the sideline, caught and out of bounds by John Ross, the junior from Long Beach, California. What a career this young man has had. Well, it's just been such a long career because of injuries. A couple of years ago, John Ross, he had a meniscus tear, and he also had a microfracture surgery in 2014. Then he comes back, and in spring football in 2015, tears his ACL, loses the season a year ago. Very happy to be back on the field, and he's one of the best speedsters in all of the game. Ross, 5th in the nation with 9 receiving touchdowns. First down for the Huskies at the 24.
And he'll hand it off to Coleman, running left with a lane. Coleman still on the move. And he crosses the 35 up to the 36. Justin Thomas grabbed his ankle, brought him down, but it's a gain of 12.
One of the things that Utah was concerned about coming into this week was the fact they didn't tackle well on the edges last week against UCLA. They felt like if Washington was smart, they were going to attack them in that area with the run game. You're already seeing that a little bit here early. Levon Coleman with a nice game there.
Coleman with 181 yards and a touchdown on just 11 carries against Arizona. First down at the 36, and they'll pitch it. This is Gaskin, still on the move, and he'll get close to the first down. So they use 3 running backs, Gaskin, Coleman, and Dotson.
And they're all a little bit different. Miles Gaskin is probably more as the speedster. Levon Coleman, a downhill between the tackles back. And then Jamon Dotson, this guy is a little bit more lanky and kind of a all-purpose style of back. But Gaskin, he's got some electricity to him.
Sophomore from Linwood, Washington. A gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Gaskin straight ahead, first down and more. As he gets into Washington territory with a 12-yard pickup.
Gotta love this double team block that you're going to see right in the middle of the play. Got Nick Harris, number 56, a true freshman, doing a great job in the middle of that offensive line. Getting a lot of movement and an easy run.
First down and 10 to the 43-yard line for Washington, their second series of the game. And they'll hand it to Gaskin. And this time, Utah prepared, stringing that play out nicely.
Kavika Luafatasanga, the junior from Honolulu, number 55, did an excellent job. He's a junior college player from Arizona Western. That's way down right near the Mexico border in southern Arizona. A little town called Yuma. 6'4", 237.
They made a movie about that little town, Yuma.
Yeah, was it the 310, right? 310 to Yuma.
Russell Crowe, second down and 11. At the 44, Browning looking over the middle. Almost intercepted. Wow. Chico McClatcher, the intended receiver, but that goes right through the hands of Luafatasanga.
Luafatasanga is the right linebacker, and he reads Browning the entire way. That's one of the more poor throws I've seen Browning make all year, and it should have been intercepted. Something that you rarely see from Utah, missed opportunity when they have a chance to get a turnover.
Only 2 interceptions thrown by Browning this season. That brings up third down and 11 at the 44. Levon Coleman in the backfield. Utah showing blitz. And here they come. Browning bounces out of the pocket. In trouble. Browning steps up. Can he get by? No! Beautiful open field tackle by Hunter Demick.
I have not seen the defensive end yet play with the enthusiasm and the motor of Hunter Demick this year, the senior. 6'3", 272 pounds. Just continues to come after the quarterback and get him to the ground. What a great play there.
So Vizcaino will punt it from his own 39. Booby Hobbs standing at his 10. And Hobbs lets it take a bounce, and it's down at the 1-yard line. So Joe Williams and the Utah offense backed up deep on their own end. They'll be back right after this. No score, Washington and Utah.
Hey, listen, Lamar is a clear front runner right now. There's no doubt. You know what's going to hurt him, though, is he doesn't have a lot of those marquee stages down the stretch in what I would call the championship months, November and early December, whereas Browning is going to have that. He's got it here against Utah. He's going to have USC still on the schedule, as well as the date in the Apple Cup with Washington State.
Out first down, Joe Williams. And he'll straight ahead. We'd like to apologize. We're having some technical difficulties for those of you watching at home. Joe Williams, no technical difficulties for him the last 2 weeks.
Boy, he's been so good. And such a stark difference. We were here for BYU, Gus, and he didn't even resemble the player that we saw last week against UCLA, playing with a freedom about him and a quickness that he was not possessing early in the season.
He started getting the AARP information in the mail.
That's right.
Scared him a little bit. 2nd and 7 at the 5. And it's Williams. Watch out. Joe Williams gets close to the 20-yard line. Folks, here's a young man that retired.
Great cut in the middle of the line of scrimmage. As Williams works through the defense, he's going to have a free Washington player right here. Bang, and he just slips to the side, and he's gone down the field for a first down. It's the decisiveness of his cut that I think makes the difference, and that's what he's been possessing in the last few weeks that he did not have early in the season.
He's carried the ball coming into this game 63 times and has not put it on the ground. Different story in the first 2 games. Williams again will make that Zach Moss skipping through the hole, and he gets to the 22.
And one thing Kyle Whittingham was concerned about is the number of carries that Joe Williams was getting. Make no mistake about it, he's going to be the featured guy, but in order to under that 28, 27, maybe even 26 carry mark, they're going to have to get Zach Moss going, a true freshman from down in Florida, 5'10", 213 pounds, and that's what Kyle Whittingham knows he needs to do to spell his great back Joe Williams.
2nd down and 7 at the 22. Moss remains in the game as the pistol back. Troy Williams will throw it. Steps up, delivers, fires to the far side, caught. This time it's the O.C. Wilson, and a first down.
Early in this game, I was wondering whether Troy Williams was going to be almost too excited to play against his former mates. If he would have been throwing the ball in traffic, I would have said, hey, he's playing outside of himself. But that was perfect. Looked at his first read, wasn't there. Got to his secondary read, moved up in the pocket, and easy first down.
First down and 10 at the 30. Williams 1 for 4. And a throw it again underneath, caught at the 33-yard line. Tyler Cooperwood with the reception. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Yeah, Gus, the Utah athletic trainers took Sam Tevy to the locker room. The senior right tackle was able to walk out off under his own power, but he did have a limp. They're looking at that right ankle. Utah's a team that does not give injury information, but you got to think they're going to try to do whatever they can to get him back out with this offensive line that's been so strong in the last couple games.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon. 2nd down and 6 at the 34. Joe Williams back in the game at running back. Williams follows his block, keeps his feet moving, and gets to the 40, close to a first down.
I think he got enough. How about the effort? I mean, this is a determined run. Not only does he have the speed to take it the distance, but he's this all-purpose back that can deliver a physical blow, run behind his pads. That's what the NFL scouts are so impressed with in the last few games.
6 carries, 36 yards already. Ran for over 300 yards last week against UCLA. First down and 10 at the 40. 511 yards rushing in the last 2. Troy Williams steps up, in trouble, and is dragged down from behind. Connor O'Brien grabs him.
Connor O'Brien, a junior, 6'3", 232 pounds. He's playing for an injured Joe Mathis, who's really their pass rushing specialist. But all the coaching staff will tell you that Connor O'Brien has played wonderful in Joe's absence. It's a guy that gives a lot of energy and can get to the quarterback like he did on first down.
2nd and 9 at the 41. Williams to throw it, looking for the screen, sets it up, and not a good throw. That one thrown a bit behind Joe Williams, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long.
It's so important when you defend the screen pass that the defensive lineman, that's 99 Greg Gaines, he's 318 pounds, but watch him sniff this out right away. He says this is something's going on, and now he's out there and he's defending it, and Joe Williams can't hang on.
3rd down, 9 at the 41-yard line for Utah. They need to get to midfield for first down. Empty backfield for Troy Williams. Washington showing blitz. And somebody flinched.
Could have been our new right tackle.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
They're going to call 68. Now, 68 is normally J.J. Dielman, a captain, but Isaac Asiata, the starting left guard, is wearing J.J. Dielman's jersey today. Dielman, a captain. They'll say Dielman on his back, but that is the senior Isaac Asiata, the left guard. Sitting in, the senior from Spanish Fork, Utah, jumped a little early.
3rd down and 14 at the 36. They throw it near side, incomplete. Damari Simpkins, the intended receiver. Not a good series for Utah.
Well, they got Joe Williams going a little bit early in that series, and then they stopped giving him the ball, and that Washington defense bowed their neck. And then once you get behind the chains, or off schedule as I would call it, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, almost impossible to convert against this Washington defense because of how good their secondary is.
Dante Pettis, the deep man, as Mitch Wisnowski. 54-yard punt. The first time. Here's his 2nd punt. And Pettis will give it a go and step out of bounds. A 50-yard punt, a 3-yard return, 2:44 to go in the first quarter. No score. UW and Utah. First quarter, 2:44 remaining. 4th-ranked Washington undefeated on the season at 7-0. And a look at their first 2 drives.
Well, they've had to come from some pretty poor field position in these last 2 drives. The first one they got started from very good field position, but this defense, it's tough to march on them the length of the field. That's why it's so important, their punt game and the field position battle.
First down and 10 at the 16. Pettis in motion. Here's Browning, quick strike underneath, and he finds John Ross, but he's unable to hold on to the football. Rare drop.
Yeah, can't put that ball in any better spot if you're Jake Browning. And I think John Ross just got caught up, and he wanted to have that outside spin move and stop on a dime and get outside, but he just forgot the ball. This guy's electric in space, and John Ross was looking to run before he secured the catch.
Washington has outscored opponents 100-7 in the first quarter. 2nd and 10. Coleman. Plenty of running room. Coleman high stepping down the sideline, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at the 40 by Chase Hansen.
Just a mistake from Utah. Watch this defensive end, Hunter Dimick. He's going to dance inside, but that allows Washington to get everybody hooked, and there's nobody on the outside of the defense. One missed tackle, and then you're off to the races. Excellent run and blocking up front from Washington.
That's a 23-yard run for Coleman. Now Jamon Dotson comes in. They look for Dotson in the flats. He has it, gets his shoulder square down the sideline. Beautiful timing throw for Jake Browning. A gain of 15.
He's got great touch, and the timing is something that I think he is always on time. I think that is a product of being prepared. This is one of the great preparers in college football. He understands what the defense is doing and how he wants to attack them, and the ball is out of his hand on time almost on every throw.
First down and 10 at the 46. Browning looks backside, has his receiver. McClatchy still running, and he's finally tackled at the Utah 20. A 25-yard pickup.
What a great job of this O-line. Watch the left side of this O-line. Trey Adams, number 72. You're going to have Jess Soosby down the field. You're going to have Nick Harris, the true freshman. All of them covering up the defensive backs, allowing McClatcher some freedom down the field. And this guy is a burner as well.
Gains of 23, 15, and 26 yards on the last 3 plays. 3rd series for the Washington offense. First down at the Utah 20. Play fake over the middle and incomplete. tell you what, though, about this Jake Browning, and a flag on the play.
They're going to get Dominique Hatfield, the corner, arriving a little early on this slant pass.
Joe, he's got some Joe Montana type. I'll look one way and throw it the other way.
Pass interference, defense number 15. Spot foul, automatic first down.
That comes with the knowledge of what's going on, because he knows what he wants to do, but he also knows how to move the defense, what their reads are, what their keys are. So he moves the defense with his eyes, creates space for his wide receivers, and then the ball is out on time and accurate. I love your comparison. Very Montana-esque. He's not a big guy, not physically imposing, but very good from the pocket.
And he's got a great mentor on the sideline in Coach Peterson. First down and goal at the 10-yard line. Gaskin breaks it outside and gets in the end zone for a touchdown.
The speed on the outside. First of all, you're going to get a block up. 88 gets up to Sunia Tautsioli, and now it's just a one-on-one battle with that corner, and he beats him to the outside. The speed of Gaskin into the end zone.
Miles Gaskin, 5'10", 195 pounds. Cameron Van Winkle comes in to attempt the extra point. Yep, and good. 5 plays, covering 84 yards. Huskies score in 1 minute and 39 seconds to take a 7-0 lead on the road.
These are the Fox 4, the top teams in the country. Number 4, Washington. 3, Clemson. 2, the Michigan Wolverines. And number 1, as they should be, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Here's the AP poll, how that stands. Personally, I had Washington number 3 ahead of Clemson. I think they've been more impressive. Some would say that this Washington schedule to this point, Gus, has not been stiff enough to move them up into that 3 zone. But I got to tell you, this is one of the most talented teams in the country, and he's a big reason why. Miles Gaskin, nice 10-yard run to cap a 5-play, 85-yard drive that lasted under 2 minutes.
Ran for 1,300 yards and 14 touchdowns, setting the Huskies' freshman record in both categories last year. And how great of a coach is this man, Coach Pete?
Well, you just knew that it was going to happen at Washington. He had such a great run at Boise State. Just a terrific coach, and now he's imported that same system here with Washington. It's just a matter of time before they're competing for national championships.
Kyle Fultz takes the knee. And when you look at Coach Peterson, you just get the feeling that the Washington fans don't have to worry. He'll be there for 20-25 years.
Well, it was like pulling teeth to get him away from Boise. You know, I didn't actually think he was going to ever leave Boise, and in his first 3 years at Washington went 8-6, 7-6, and now 7-0. He had a very specific process and implementation that he wanted in at Washington. Our kind of guys, he calls them OKGs. That's the style of player he wants to recruit, and now he's got a lot of those. And Gus, they're young. Lots of sophomores on this team that are his kind of guys, and they're very good.
First down and 10 of the 25 for Utah. Joe Williams in the backfield. They give it to him. Williams breaks a tackle, tries to get outside, and does. Stumbles forward and gets to the 32-yard line. Kevin King finally bringing him down, but you get the feeling that Williams is ready to pop a big one.
I think they need to get him in rhythm right here because he's got the vision. He's had a couple of nice runs right here. He's his own blocker. Nothing happening up front, and he gets to the outside and gets a second and short. If I were Joe Harding, the offensive coordinator, I would try to establish Joe Williams right here. Get him about 3, 4, 5 carries in a row.
Second and 3 at the 32. Troy Williams to throw it over the middle and incomplete. Evan Moyai, the intended receiver.
Troy Williams and Moyai, both junior college transfers. Moyai, junior college transfer from Snow College, and he's been great in the run game blocking. They haven't thrown him a lot of passes. 14 catches on the year. But again, this takes you out 3rd and 3. Now there's a question of whether you can hand it to Joe Williams. Second down, a little love to seeing the ball go to 28.
3rd down, 3 at the 32. Troy Williams to throw it underneath and high and incomplete. Justin Thomas, the intended receiver.
Yeah, Kyle Whittingham's got to be frustrated right now with the decision making on offense. Again, that was a series where Joe Williams is running the ball very well. 7 carries, 43 yards, 6 a pop. Easy to give him the ball a couple of times, get a couple of free first downs rather than trying to throw it. Troy Williams only 2 of 9 now throwing the ball for 12 yards. I don't understand those play calls here after a touchdown from the Huskies.
Wisnowski punting it away inside his own 20. Pettis the deep man. Will backpedal. Fields it inside the 10. Great coverage by the Utes. A 59-yard punt. As Utah gets down the field quickly. Jason Thompson with the tackle on special teams, and he's banged up.
He's a senior, and he got up very woozy. There was a big collision there with a lot of players. There's number 10. There's Jason Thompson. As he went to the turf, you saw his head just hit the ground, and oh boy, you just never like to see that. Now they're going to attend to him as they should, and he'll go into the concussion protocol. 6'2", 208 pounds from Renton, Washington. You know this game was circled on his calendar, facing his home state team.
So Washington will start from their own 5-yard line. Myles Gaskin looking for a hole. Not a lot of room. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. 4th-ranked Washington.
That's the end of the first quarter.
On top of Utah, 7-0. And welcome back to FS1 College Football presented by Verizon. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Shannon Spake with you. Rice-Eccles Stadium here in Salt Lake City. 7-0. Washington, the 4th-ranked team in the nation, undefeated coming into this game.
And they're starting to assert themselves. That last drive very quickly down the field. Now they get the ball backed up near their own end zone. And it'll be 2nd and long here, but you get the sense that there's a shot coming. Jake Browning down the field to John Ross.
3rd straight Washington drive that starts inside the 16. 2nd and 9. Gaskin. And he'll gain a yard. Hunter Demick, first man to it.
Now in this situation, you've got the crowd noise behind you for Utah. I would dial up a pressure right here, because the last thing you want is for Jake Browning to have time in his own end zone. You've got to make him feel it with the student section just behind him.
Remember, Utah forced 4 turnovers last year in Seattle on their way to their first win against Washington. 3rd down 7 at the 8. Washington 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. Browning goes through his progressions, tries to break contain, throws, and they're going to call it a catch and a first down. Drew Sample.
Oh, just such a great job by Browning, because it looks like he's going to commit to the run, and at the last second he turns himself to the left and just flips it to Drew Sample, who just hangs on and gains control before hitting that sideline. What a conversion from Jake Browning. It's not just his ability to throw from the pocket. He gets out, escapes, and has the athleticism to turn his body and flip it down the field.
First down and 10 of the 19. Browning sprints out, looks backside, delivers a missile, and caught by Dante Pettis. Jake Browning comes into this game. His name all over the national rankings. 2nd in passing efficiency, 3rd in touchdowns and yards per attempt, 8th in completion percentage.
Gus, I think a lot of that is the wide receiver group. You know, they're so much better this year. One, they get John Ross back, but they're also much more clean when it comes to route concepts and understanding how to get themselves open. And the pictures that they create for Jake Browning have been very clean.
Gain of 10 on the last play. Myles Gaskin back in the game at running back. They'll give it to him as he sweeps around the left side, gets down the sideline, 40 yards. The 40-yard line, rather, and out of bounds after an 11-yard gain.
I love when a center gets out in the middle of this. You're going to see Coleman Shelton, the center, junior. He snaps the ball, leads all the way around, and gets that block on number 19, Sonia Tautioli, to spring Gaskin for an extra, 10, 11 yards. Good athleticism from the interior of that line. Only 293 pounds there, the center.
They give him 12. 1st and 10 at the 41. Gaskin with 53 yards rushing on 9 carries. The counter. Gaskin leaning. And Gaskin. Stopped by Luafatasanga.
They have been attacking Gus the short side of the field, which for them, being on the left hash, means the left side of the field. And they've done a great job. One of the things that Utah's defense does, so this is the short side of the field going that direction, and see how you got the entire group of wide receivers over there. Now they're shifting, and they get all those Utah players to shift over with them. And look, now they've got numbers on the left side.
They pitch it right. Gaskin wants to throw it backside. Browning looks downfield. Caught at the 35-yard line. Darrell Daniels all the way down to the Utah 15 as Chase Hansen finally stops him.
Well, here comes the trick play. We knew it was coming from one of these teams, and wouldn't you know it, it's Chris Peterson that gets to it first. The double pass down the field. Excellent job executing that. Darrell Daniels, the senior from Pittsburgh, California, been a real leader for them offensively.
A 38-yard gain. This drive started at the Washington 5. 1st down and 10 at the Utah 16. Browning steps into his throw, and it's caught. John Ross, touchdown, Huskies.
What a series. Started on their own 5-yard line. They're going to get movement from the linebacker, and then here comes the route right behind him. And again, attacking that short side of the field, creating space. Browning moves up. Excellent ball right onto the frame of John Ross, and he gets in the end zone. 10th touchdown of the year for John Ross.
Cameron Van Winkle with the extra point, and it's good. 14-0 Washington. Browning finding his go-to man, John Ross. Two and a half hours before every home game, the football team takes part in the Ute Walk. The marching band leads the team along their way to the stadium as fans line up and show their support for the players and the coaches. Our Traditions of the Game is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. Kyle Whittingham, the general, his team down 14-0. Some curious offensive play calls by Utah, not establishing Joe Williams, who's averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Well, he's got 7 carries now. You certainly thought on the last possession before Washington got the ball. And the thing about it is that Washington now on successive drives, they've gone 84 yards in 5 plays for a touchdown, and then 95 yards in 8 plays for a touchdown. So not only do you need to establish some offensive rhythm yourself if you're Utah, but you also need to get your defense off the field here for some extended amount of time.
There's Jim Harding, the offensive coordinator.
It's his 3rd year on staff, 2nd as the offensive coordinator. He had a really solid stint as the offensive coordinator at Wyoming before coming here, and they're going to have to get this going.
Kyle Folks, the deep man, and he'll start from the 2-yard line. And Utah playing without Corey Butler-Bird, who injured himself last week against UCLA. Flag on the play. Corey Butler-Bird with a 99-yard kickoff return on the opening kick last week in Pasadena.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team number 14. Half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
So they'll get themselves backed up.
That's Brian Allen.
Brian Allen is a corner for them, and there's the block, hands in the back. Looks like he was blocking Keyshawn Bierria. One of the things Washington does a lot of, Gus, they use their starters on special teams. All the best players are on special teams, and it really forces the opposition into precarious situations where they're outmatched athletically, and sometimes you get that block in the back as a result.
So a first down at the 6-yard line. Here's Williams running left. Tries to get through the hole. He'll pick up 3.5, maybe 4 yards on the play. Joe Williams runs a 4.340 from the Bronx, New York originally. Started his career at Connecticut, bounced to a junior college before being given a scholarship here at Utah.
And this is a guy that has a lot of emotions playing against Washington and Chris Peterson, but he's handled them fairly well so far.
Joe Williams says he plays angry now. They give it to him over the right side, and he'll stumble forward close to the first down.
Just looking to see if they're going to give him. They do give him the first down, so they establish number 28. I don't think that there's any reason to do anything else until maybe he asks out of the game and gets tired. But this is time to establish the run, rest your defense, and try to target some weakness that Washington has, because defensively Washington has been so good this year, and Jim Harding is going to have to attack that weakness, which right now might be that run defense.
First down and 10 at the 16. Troy Williams to throw it underneath and incomplete. And a flag on the play intended for Evan Moiai, and that time Buda Baker got there a little early.
They play such aggressive coverage. He was in man-to-man in the slot against Evan Moiai.
Pass interference, defense number 32. Spot foul, automatic first down.
And he'll be coming into the screen from the right as clearly they're making contact on that left side of Moiai before the ball got there. That's one as a defensive coordinator you can live with, because it's attacking, it's aggressive. 4th penalty so far.
First down at the 20. Troy Williams to throw it. Goes deep. Williams looking and knocked away at the last moment. Terrific defensive play. Sidney Jones, one of the top cornerback prospects for the NFL.
And this guy is so good. 6 foot, 181 pounds, and he is like glue down the field all over Tim Patrick. And Tim Patrick's got 5 inches on him. He's getting 6'5", and he goes up, gets the ball. He does not get targeted a lot. Speaking of Sidney Jones, people stay away from him because he's so good. I thought he got snubbed. He should be on the Thorpe Award semifinal list. They left him off. I don't know why.
Has allowed just 4 receptions all season. 2nd and 10.
Snap infraction, offense number 75. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Nick Nowakowski, number 75, right in the middle of that offensive line. Yep, absolutely. Flinched that ball and got the jump from Washington. Nowakowski, 4th string center, 1-time walk-on, mostly special teams player, but he started the last 3 games and played very well, earned a spot here.
2nd and 15. Troy Williams steps up, delivers high and incomplete.
Yeah, that's the problem with getting behind the chains. 2nd and 15, so hard to rely on the run game. You got to sit there and throw the ball down the field. But this Washington secondary is providing no space. There's no open windows to throw the ball. And without a guy like Corey Butler-Bird, who's down because of injury for Utah, not just in the return game, but Gus, as a slot receiver, he can create space, and they're missing that desperately right now against this secondary of the Huskies.
3rd and 15 at the 15-yard line. Williams, 2 of 11 to start this game. Troy Williams looking. Flag on the play. And Williams get out of bounds at the 23.
Some sloppy play here from Utah in this series, and they're going to get a chop block on the outside as Joe Williams and Evan Moiai were working against number 11 Elijah Qualls. Evan Moiai, number 18, was blocking him high. Joe Williams cut his leg out. I think that's what they're discussing right now.
Personal foul, chop block, offense number 18 and number 24. Penalty is declined. The result of the play, 4th down.
So they're working. See, there's Williams low. Moiai engages high. That draws the penalty, and a very sloppy series there from Utah. Not a lot of energy for this offense right now outside of some positive runs from Joe Williams so far in this game.
Mitch Wisnowski in the punt for the 4th time. He's had 54, 50, and 60-yard punts. Dante Pettis is the deep man. Pettis fields it at the 23 and goes down at the 26. The Utah defense in desperate need of a stop because the Huskies are finding their rhythm on O. Huskies with a 14-0 lead here in the 2nd quarter, 9:12 remaining. Let's go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
All right, guys, you know Charlie Strong is feeling the heat at Texas. A win over 8th-ranked and undefeated Baylor may ease the pressure. Deontay Foreman helping his coach out here with the 37-yard touchdown run. That put him up 7, but we are now tied at 14 in the 2nd. Gus, Joel.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, Charlie, uphill battle right now, but Texas can run the ball. Baylor is a little suspect on their run defense, so they've got a shot in that one in their home stadium.
First down at the 26 for Washington. Play action fake. Browning in trouble, and he just gets rid of it. Great pressure being applied by the Utah defense.
Yeah, that was just all-out effort, getting right into the face of the quarterback. I thought maybe that was going to be an intentional grounding. The announcement made that there was a running back in the area. It looked like they were trying to set up a screen, but he certainly threw it well away from where the running back was actually setting up. I would not have been shocked at all if the penalty flag came out, and I would not have disagreed with it either. 2nd and 10 at the 26. Here's the handoff to Coleman, and he's stuffed. No gain on the play. Well, this is exactly what this Utah defense needs, is a little bit of confidence. 2 long drives on the last 2 possessions from Washington. Now the opportunity, Gus, to get off the field with a 3-and-out. They've got to produce some pressure here. If Browning has time to throw, he will pick them apart down the field. 3rd down and 10 at the 26. Browning will start in the shotgun with Jamon Dotson. Browning. Deep throw. Picked off. Chase Hansen at the 30. Can he get a block? Still on his feet. Down at the Washington 19. A 31-yard return. And the Utes are in business. Only the 3rd interception of the season. Chris Browning. And Chris Peterson is telling him, you read his eyes. Watch the eyes go all the way to the right side the entire time. And Hansen, who's just sitting there, reads it, breaks on it. That's an easy interception and a ball that Jake Browning should never have thrown. Tried to get too greedy down the field. Hansen's there perfectly. And guess what Utah's defense does? They get turnovers, leading the country with 23 turnovers. That's their 15th interception on the year. Browning knew it that he made a mistake. So can the Utes capitalize? First down at the Washington 19. Troy Williams with the empty backfield. And he'll run it. Bounces it outside. Hits the sideline and out of bounds at the 13. JoJo McIntosh there to usher him out of play. A little bit of chatter there for Troy Williams, who has started this game a little antsy. Throwing a lot of his passes too high. You can tell he's hyped up. He's only 2 of 11, so they want to try to calm him down with a quarterback-designed run play. Now they set up this shorter second down opportunity.
2nd and 4 at the Washington 13-yard line. Joe Williams back in the game at running back. They'll give it to him. Lowers his shoulder, gets inside the 10, still churning his legs, and he picks up a first down. Vita Vea with the tackle.
Because everything positive that Utah has done offensively has been because of 28, Joe Williams. So even if you want to throw it, it needs to be a play action or run action pass where it's faked to Joe Williams and then allowing Troy Williams an easy completion on the outside.
We talked to his fiancée, Jasmine, yesterday. She told him in the first 2 games he wasn't running hard. Joe said, now I'm running angry. I'm angry when I'm on the field. First down and goal at the 7. They give it to him, looking, bounces it outside, still on his feet, crawls forward and gets to the 2.
Well, he is running with a different purpose. And they're discussing right now whether he actually, whoa, they're giving this ball to Washington.
They say he fumbled it.
This one will absolutely be reviewed. There was, just from my vantage
the ruling
point,
on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Washington.
no, that's a total overreach by the official. That's a very easy call. He was down. The ground actually knocked the ball out. There's no reason to think that that ball was coming loose at all. Not only was the left knee down, but as he's reaching, there's the knee down. As he's reaching, the ground is what knocks the ball out anyways. I have no idea what would make an official think that that was a fumble.
The field is a fumble recovered by Washington. This play is now under replay review.
So Joe Williams said that physically he was banged up when he decided to retire. Mentally, he was banged up as well. He had fumbled the ball early in the season, fumbled it last year. Took some time off and watched the games from the stands with his fiancée. Got the call when the Utah backfield was decimated with injuries from the coaching staff.
Gus, how many times, all of us, you, me, all of us listening at home, all the people in the stadiums, you've thought about what it would be like to have one more shot, whether it was pee-wee or high school or college football. We all leave the game at some point too early. Joe Williams got a glimpse of what his life was like without football. And now you're seeing what it means to have the passion and freedom of a second chance.
Joe Williams, kind of a renaissance man. He's taken botany classes for the fun of it. Very learned, almost the kind of kid. We were talking to him yesterday. He thinks a little bit too much, his fiance said.
That's right.
Stop thinking, just play.
Well, every fiance and wife in America is looking at her husband. You think too much too.
After review, the runner's left knee was down. For the Utah ball, second down at the 3-yard line.
Well, easy call for the officials. Utah at the Washington 3. Joe Williams starting to heat up.
You know, second down, I wouldn't mind seeing this ball go to 28 again. He's got the hot hand.
Second down and goal at the 3. And they pitch it inside. Moyai almost got in, but he's down at the 1.
Boy, and that ball did come loose down there for a moment, and Moyai was very fortunate that that bounced back to him. Trying this, looks like an outside option, and then a short pitch. And watch here on the contact, that ball is actually starting to come loose. Nope, that elbow was absolutely down before that ball was extended, and he had to bring it back into his chest.
4-down territory here.
Boy, at 14-0, I think it is. I don't think that you can come away with just 3.
Third down goal at the 1. Kyle Whittingham can feel it. They get outside, but Troy Williams unable to get into the end zone. I don't understand. Give Joe Williams a football. Why is so tricky?
And now we got some flags, some chatter after the play. They're trying to get this quarterback design run. Remember, Troy Williams knows all of these guys. Now you got all the Washington guys barking at Troy Williams, former teammates. All of those Huskies were barking at him.
At the end of the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 36. The penalty is half the distance from the goal, results in an automatic first down. This is number 36, first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
See, here's his two best friends, Azim Victor and Keyshawn Bierria. They were his brothers. They were the guys that he called first when he got a scholarship to go to Utah and said, I'm going to see you on the field. And now Victor gets them a first and goal. Why is Joe Williams not on the field? Gus, I'm with you here.
Here's Troy Williams running it, and a whistle and flag.
False start. Offense number 82. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Ken Hampel.
Ken Hampel, former walk-on. He's a senior from Mountain View, California. And now finally Joe Williams is going to come back on, but they put themselves now in such a more precarious spot at first and goal from just outside of the 6-yard line. Much more difficult here rather than first and goal, obviously, from the 1, when you got 3 or maybe 4 chances with the hottest running back in the country from 1 yard out.
First down and goal at the 6. Williams will get a carry this time. Skipping. Delivers a blow at the end of the play and gets to the 2. It's not complicated, Joel.
No, it's not. And like I said, if you are going to throw it, it's got to be a fake to 28 first. Because everything in the offense right now has to at least be spun off of the only success that they're having, which is running it with Joe Williams.
Give him 4 chances to get into the end zone. Second and goal at the 2. He had 4 touchdowns last week against UCLA. He lines up as the pistol back. Williams, right side. Touchdown, Utah. Give him the ball.
Great job up front, opening up a hole for their back and getting them into the end zone. That right side, including the tight end, number 18, Moiai, is going to get out, gets a nice block right there. Even a little bit of a block down on the goal line is enough to get 28 into the end zone.
Andy Phillips, the All-American field goal kicker, in to attempt the extra point, and it's good. 14-7. Washington with the lead, but the Utah Utes starting to come back. Last year in Seattle, Devontae Booker ran for 150 yards and a touchdown, and Gianni Paul's 54-yard fumble return touchdown helped secure Utah's first win over the Huskies in school history. Devontae Booker will be starting running back for C.J. Anderson and the Denver Broncos in their next game. Joe Williams with a 2-yard touchdown.
And it wasn't a long drive, but boy, they needed it badly. Like, they needed air to breathe. All set up by that interception. You got to credit Chase Hansen for getting the turnover from Jake Browning, which is so rare. Now Browning, after sitting there and watching that drive, has got to come out here and put that interception out of his head.
John Ross, the deep man, comes up. That ball takes a bounce, and it's fielded by Austin Joyner, who's finally dropped at the 24. Let's go to Mike Hill for a game break.
All right, Gus, 6th-ranked Ohio State looking to bounce back after that loss to Penn State last week against Northwestern. Mike Weber grilling. Second TD of the game, this one for 23 yards. It's just 17-10, the Ohio State University in the second. Gus, Joel.
And speaking of Ohio State, this game early on is reminding me of the Ohio State-Michigan State game last year. Ezekiel Elliott, best running back in the nation. For some reason, Urban Meyer didn't give them the football, and the Buckeyes suffered their first loss of the year.
Well, just think of it this way. Joe Williams here has gotten 13 carries already. Ezekiel got 13 carries that entire game.
Here's the run for McClatchy around the right side. And this Utah defense looks energized after that touchdown.
Well, turnovers is what they do. That is their fuel, and this secondary is so good. 15 interceptions now on the year, but the one thing that they've got to get better at, they struggled last week, they've struggled early in this game, is tackling in space. 57 takeaways since 2015. That's the most in the FBS after 5 a week ago, but they've got to tackle in space.
Jamon Dotson in the game and running back on 2nd down and 7. Dotson looking for a hole. He'll cross the line of scrimmage and gain a yard on the play. Lolo Tulele, the All-American, with the tackle.
And Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator, right on the right side. He's in the hat right here. He's an aggressive guy. Watched him on Thursday pumping the music, trying to get ready for this crowd noise. But this is one of the things that they wanted. Long yardage 3rd down so they can try to get to Browning.
3rd down, 6 at the 28. Dotson remains in the game. Browning in the gun. He'll change the play at the line of scrimmage. Here's Browning. In trouble. Browning dancing around. Browning tackle from behind. Ta'amoi Pinu. 2nd sack of the game for Utah.
Well, there was nowhere to go for Browning in the secondary, and allowed Ta'amoi Pinu, the senior from Provo, Utah, to come all the way around from his defensive end spot and just continue to work on Browning and finally get him to the ground.
So with 2:55 remaining in the 2nd quarter, the Utes will get it again, down by 7. Ruby Hobbs lets it take a bounce, picks it up, and is tackled immediately at the 25. A 46-yard punt. Jordan Miller with a tackle on special teams, but coming up, the Utah offense.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Lamar Jackson granted another late Heisman moment. The unbeaten Mountaineers are no more, and the Wolverines exact some level of revenge on Sparty. Gus, Joel, see you at the break.
All right, Rob, thank you very much. As Utah takes over, down 14-7. Interesting stat here. The Utes are averaging 5.1 yard per rushing attempt, only 1.2 yards per passing attempt. Joe Williams down as he slices through for a gain of 18. Taylor Rapp with the saving tackle.
Salase Uatafe is going to come around as the right guard, and he's going to lead right up into the middle, and bang, he gets the linebacker Keyshawn Bieria right on the ground and allows Joe Williams that 2nd level cut to get free into the secondary.
14 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown in the 1st half for Williams. 1st and 10 at the 46. They give it to him again. And again inside Washington territory, a 5-yard gain.
You know, one of the things I was so interested to see is if Utah could get movement with the double team so that they could pull these guards and linemen around to lead up the holes for Joe Williams. And so far, they've done a nice job against a Washington team that has been very stout in the defensive front four.
Zach Moss comes in at running back now. 2nd and 5. They give it to him. And Moss leans forward, picks up a 1st down. We talked to Coach Whittingham and Coach Harding about this offensive line and how early in the season they weren't playing physical. But things have changed.
They have changed in a major way. I mean, they were so disappointed after week 1 that they put him in pads for 4 straight days. And then Nick Nowakowski, the center, comes in, the former walk-on. He really solidified things about 4 weeks ago.
Loss again. And you get the feeling that these Utes on the offensive line, they want to fight Washington in the gutter. They want to make it ugly and physical,
of course,
nasty.
That's what they did last week to UCLA, and there's 75 Nowakowski, and that leadership from the center position is always so important.
Troy Williams throwing to the far side. That ball is caught by Tim Patrick. Good to have him back. He's been banged up this season.
And for the first time today, after that turnover and a touchdown, you're starting to see a little rhythm offensively.
3rd down and 2 at the 35.
The ruling on the field is a catch. This play is now under replay review.
So Tim Patrick diving over there on the sideline. Troy Williams has struggled with his accuracy so far today. Understandable with all the emotions. And here's Patrick as he goes to the ground, and certainly looks like he secures the catch. Just a matter of where he initially touches the field. Yep, certainly in bounds. That ball is pinned very securely with the right hand against his chest. And Gus, in my estimation, that is, I understand why they looked at it, but pretty clearly a catch to me.
That'll make it, if the play stands, 3rd down and 2.
You know, the ball, here's the important part. The ball can touch the ground as long as control is continued throughout that process. And that's exactly what Tim Patrick established, was control, elbow down, and then that ball did not move necessarily. And I know move is not necessarily the correct word, because it can move. It's the control aspect, and he certainly had it.
Tim Patrick has missed most of the last 4 games due to an ankle injury, but is still Utah's leading receiver, coming into this game with 24 catches for 429 yards and 5 touchdowns.
So many junior college players on this offense, Tim Patrick being one of them. You know, I think what that does is, I think junior college players, more so than even recruited players,
they got a chip.
They got a chip, and they have a sense of urgency about them, because they understand, I got 2 years at this. Tim Patrick certainly one of those guys.
After review, the ruling on the field of a catch stands. The game clock will begin on my ready for play whistle.
51 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. 3rd down and 2 for Utah.
With 3 timeouts, they can still run it.
Joe Williams back in the game at running back. He's been excellent in the first half, close to 100 yards. They give it to him. Williams straight ahead, and he picks up the 1st down.
I love it. Make sure you're establishing a new set of downs, and then use a timeout, which it looks like Utah will do. They do. That's their first of the half. And with 45 seconds, Gus, they're in a good spot here at the 31-yard line. And they finally established a little rhythm. And look what happens when you get the run game going. Troy Williams gets an easier completion on the outside. You allow your quarterback to get comfortable in a game in which his emotions are running very high. As Kyle Whittingham knows that his team, they need a touchdown on this drive. The way that this half is going, they need that momentum of a touchdown here to close things out.
The momentum shifting after that Chase Hansen interception. Williams punching it in for Utah's score. The defense starting to really ratchet things up for the Utes.
Now, the one thing you got to be cautious of, this Washington defense, Gus, have playmakers in the back end. Budda Baker specifically. Troy Williams cannot put this ball in precarious spots down the field.
1st down at the 31. Here's Troy Williams looking in the end zone, and incomplete. Good coverage there as the ball was knocked away by Kevin King.
Kevin King, one of the best looking corners in the Pac-12, maybe the country. 6'3", 192 pounds. Just executes perfect technique, forcing Tim Patrick onto the sideline, and then the sideline acts as another defender. And it's almost like you have the wide receiver double teamed. That's just perfection right there from Kevin King.
2nd down and 10. 39 seconds remaining. Utah with 2 timeouts left. Joe Williams with a hole. Williams knocked down at the 22, close to a 1st down. JoJo McIntosh and Kevin King combining on the tackle.
Utah, their 2nd charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
A smart timeout there from Kyle Whittingham. Didn't get the 1st down, so it's going to be a 3rd and short. And with 1 timeout left, I think I would hand it off again just to make sure that I'm getting a new set of downs, and then call another timeout, or have a second play ready to go on first down after the clock stops on the first, and then maybe put the ball down the field.
Williams in the first half, 17 carries, 105 yards rushing, and a touchdown. Remember, 332 yards rushing last week and 4 touchdowns against UCLA. He had 179 yards rushing and a touchdown against Oregon State in his return from retirement. 3rd down and 1 at the 22. They'll hand it off. Williams, first down. Clock will stop momentarily.
Now they've got that second play ready to go, so after they set the chains and it runs, they'll be ready to rock.
First down at the 17, and they spike it.
All right, so with the timeout left, they wanted to keep that in their hip pocket, spike the ball. Utah's got 1 remaining. So you could still, in theory, run it, which also means that the play action is still a threat because of that timeout on the board.
This secondary, though, for Washington, Joel, is so good.
They are so good. The corners have been outstanding today.
2nd and 10 at the 17, 28 seconds remaining. Play fake. Williams underneath. And this is Moriarty, who does not get out of bounds.
Oh, what a mistake for Moriarty. And now they're going to have to burn their timeout. He's heading to the sideline, designed in order to stop the clock because they're throwing short of the chains, and now they've got to burn that timeout.
Utah, their 3rd and final charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second charge timeout.
And Kyle Whittingham is giving him an earful.
Because Whittingham has to run down. That's Whittingham right there. I don't miss that look on coaches' faces. Ooh. And now it gets a little bit more precarious here. With 21 seconds, now you cannot hand the football off, obviously. It's 3rd down. This ball has got to be thrown past the chains if it's in the middle of the field or to the outside. And you have to understand, even if you get a first down and not a touchdown, you've got to come up and spike the ball right away. All of that strategy being talked about in the Utah offensive huddle.
3rd down, 5 at the 12. Troy Williams playing against his former team. The throw. Williams looking, steps up, in trouble, and goes down at the 10. Connor O'Brien with the tackle. They've got to get back to the line of scrimmage quickly. Andy Phillips rushed in the game. He's one of the best in the nation from 29 yards away. They got it up and good. Terrific job by the Utah special teams. Automatic Andy. And that's the end of the first half. 14-10. Utah will get the ball. Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Coach, thanks so much, Gus. Coach, obviously you were able to get 3 points out of that, but what will you say to your guys about some of the decisions, specifically not being able to get out of bounds?
Circumstances, but proud of the offense for that drive. We ended with points on the board, and we got the ball coming out at half.
You told me last week it's a game of momentum, and that turnover certainly put it in your side. What have you done well to kind of continue that momentum?
It was great for the offense to capitalize on it. First of all, we haven't always capitalized on red zone opportunities this year, so it was great to see him put that one in the end zone. And defense is playing solid. We just got to keep playing. It's a ball game.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, competitive first half. The 4th-ranked team in the nation, Washington, with a 14-10 lead on the road against the Utes. Right now, let's go to Rob Stone in the studio. And welcome back to Salt Lake City as we prepare to head into the second half. The number 4 team in the nation, Washington, with a 14-10 lead over the 17th-ranked Utah Utes. Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt, partner. Physical first half, a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the tale of 2 quarters, and I thought Washington early really established themselves, all the threats on the offensive side, and then the answer from Utah coming back. But early, it was really all Jake Browning and that Washington Huskies team. 2 long drives for touchdowns. The first one over 80 yards capped by Myles Gaskin. And then the second drive, 95 yards, 8 plays. John Ross finds himself in the end zone for his 10th touchdown of the year. And then the mistake from Browning, something we haven't seen all year. The pick that leads to a Joe Williams touchdown, and Joe Williams, partner, he got himself going in that second quarter. Now he's 18 carries for over 100 yards.
And Utah with the ball to start the second half. Joe Williams back-to-back 100-yard rushing games as he returns to college football after retirement. This Kano to send it away. This one deep into the end zone for a touchback. Let's go downstairs to Shannon Spake.
Well, hey, they're kind of upstairs right now, Gus, but you know, you've mentioned his name already like 4 or 5 times just in the beginning of this second half. Joe Williams, this is where he sat, section 38, during that 4-game retirement. 2 games he watched from the stands directly next to the muss. Now, Chris Peterson knows if they're going to have success, they're going to have to slow Joe down in this game. He told me we have to get off blocks and tackle better. When I asked him what else he wants cleaned up, he said get off blocks and tackle better. So, guys, watch those guys up front in this second for Washington.
All right, thank you very much, Shannon. Joe Williams watching from the stands for 2 games. He also took a trip to Denver. We'll tell you about that in a second. On first down, they give it to him. And he's knocked backwards. He took a trip to Denver to spend some time with his good buddy, Devontae Booker, and Booker gave him some good information.
Well, Booker looked him straight in his eyes and said, you're good enough to be in my shoes in the National Football League. Kind of like, what are you doing? And even though that conversation didn't necessarily change his mind, the phone call from Kyle Whittingham came shortly after, and Joe Williams realized, listen, I'm going to return to football for me and for my family, and that's what I'm going to do, and he's been a different player since. Second down and 10 at the 25.
Troy Williams in trouble. Throws on the move and incomplete.
Well, this aggressiveness of the Utah D, or excuse me, the Washington D, right off the rip. Keyshawn Bierria was the one that was in there right at the feet of Troy Williams, made him escape the pocket, and he just had to dump that ball out of bounds. This is the exact situation that Washington forced the entire first quarter, 3rd and long, forcing the ball in the game into Troy Williams' hands, and that's when Washington was having a lot of success.
Troy Williams 5 of 15 in the first half, 25 yards passing. 3rd down and 10 of the 25. Empty backfield. Troy Williams steps up in the pocket, decides to run it, and gets the first down. Took a hard hit by Budda Baker, but he picks up the first down.
So his numbers passing the ball, they've not been great. But when you look in, boy, that spot's going to be awful close. He needed to get that nose of the ball to that 30-yard line. They do say it's a first down. I thought it was a little bit of a generous spot. However, chains move, but he's been moving the chains with his legs. If you're not throwing the ball well as a quarterback, you got to find other ways to affect the game, and Troy has done that with his feet.
First down at the 35. Joe Williams. Woo. JoJo McIntosh with a terrific tackle. And this kid gets downhill quickly, Joel.
Yeah, JoJo McIntosh is the enforcer. So here comes number 14. He's a big safety, 6'1", 209 pounds. If he doesn't trip Joe Williams up, this guy's got 4.3 speed. He's in the end zone right now. That was a touchdown saving tackle right at the line of scrimmage from the strong safety, JoJo McIntosh.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 of the 40. Williams again, looking, high stepping through the hole. Leans forward, he's close. Azim Victor with the stop. Are you surprised that Utah's able to run the football against this 4th-ranked Washington team?
Not necessarily. What I'm surprised about is that Washington hasn't made the adjustment on defense to just put everyone up in the front. Listen, Troy Williams is not hurting you throw the ball, and the corners have won every 50-50 situation for Washington that they've been involved in. So the safeties, in my estimation, need to go play real tight to the line of scrimmage in order to stop the run game.
3rd down and short. They need about a yard. Low snap. They hand it off Joe Williams, and he'll get the first down.
They're trying to stop this run game with just base defense, and it's not working out because of the vision. Whoa, look at that ball. Was actually on the ground. Troy Williams, fortunate bounce. Bounced up to him like it was a basketball. He got it to Joe Williams and was able to convert and stay on the field. But these safeties are going to have to start taking chances and getting up near the line of scrimmage, or else Utah is just going to run the ball the entire second half.
Keep your eye on Tyrone Smith. He's the receiver at the top of your screen. He's tall, 6'4". 1st and 10 at the 47. Troy Williams goes near side. Caught at the 24-yard line. Evan Moyahi. A gain of 31.
I love what they're able to do. They're going to target the safety with the little corner route from the tight end. And as the safety just stays right near the hash, even turns his shoulders, that's an easy read for Troy Williams, who dumps it on the outside to Evan Moyahi. They needed some success in the passing game, and now they finally got it to their tight end.
First down at the Washington 23. Moyahi, 3 catches, 37 yards. Troy Williams. They give it, no, underneath, caught. Flag on the play. Tim Patrick on the slant route. Sidney Jones with the tackle.
We'll see which way this is working. There was a little hand fighting there. 26, Sidney Jones.
Before the pass, holding defense number 26. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Almost nobody has had success working on Sidney Jones here, the corner, number 26. But when you've got a 6'5" receiver and he beats him inside, you know, I got to be honest, I didn't see a hold there. That jersey didn't come away from the pads. That's kind of typical hand fighting, in particular near the line of scrimmage. But nonetheless, the Utes get the call.
Joe Williams back in the game and running back. They give it to him. Tries to break it back. And will be slammed to the ground by Vea. Vita Vea, sophomore, Milpitas, California. 6'5", 332.
And this is the point on the field that it becomes so difficult to run it. When you're in goal to go from outside the 5, the safeties are run defenders. You can't block them. And so it becomes imperative for Kyle Whittingham's offense that they be able to throw the ball. But they haven't done that with much success today.
Second down, goal at the 6-yard line. Here's Troy Williams running it. Troy Williams leans forward and gets inside the 1.
Defense's helmet came off during the play and has to leave for 1 down.
So Buda Baker's helmet came off, number 32. He's going to end up having to leave. Boy, that's not good. In particular here, when you've got 3rd and goal from the 2, he's the playmaking safety. He would have been the unblocked player. And now in for him, 21, a true freshman, Taylor Rapp, is going to be in the ball game.
3rd down, goal at the 2. This drive started at the Utah 25. Joe Williams has 1 touchdown already. They give it to him. Outside. Oh, what a great tackle, but a flag. Maybe a face mask against Washington.
I think that's exactly what they're going to call. Azim Victor, number 36, was the player that was nearest and actually trying to tackle Joe Williamson. Absolutely. Right hand, right on the face mask, turns his head.
Face mask, defense, half the distance from the goal, automatic first down.
We've guys now seen 2 penalties against Washington down inside the 5 that has given Utah a free first down. They were able to capitalize for a touchdown earlier in the game. Now they got 1st and goal from the 6-inch line.
Joe Williams.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Isaac Asiata. Normally wears 54. Is wearing his buddy J.J. Dielman's jersey today, 68. The left guard absolutely started early. This is like carbon copy of their series previously. They get a first down via penalty inside the 1, and immediately they get a false start. They have to go outside of the 5-yard line for their 1st and goal.
So instead of 1st and goal to the 1, it's 1st and goal at the 5. Joe Williams running right. Breaks it inside. Terrific defense, though, by the interior of the Washington Huskies. Saw Mulching, first man to him.
And now Williams is going to have to leave the game for at least a play, because his helmet came off there late, as there's about 3 Huskies bringing him to the ground. And now without 28 in the game, this is going to fall on the right shoulder of Troy Williams.
Zach Moss comes in as the running back for Utah. Tim Patrick splits wide to the top of your screen. And a timeout called by Utah.
Sideline warning, Utah, coach out of the coaching box. This is their first and only sideline warning of the game.
Kyle Whittingham was trying to get the attention, the head linesman, and ran out of the coaching box. Gets a quick warning, so no timeout here. Back to 2nd and goal.
From the 6. Zach Moss, the running back. Williams. Touchdown Utes. C.O.C. Wilson. And Utah, with 8:17 to go in the 3rd quarter, the Utes take the lead against the number 4 team in America.
I love the concept, because what you're going to get is the corner. That's 26 Sidney Jones. He's got to be there for the tight end who's heading for the pylon, and he didn't get the safety help over the top.
Phillips in to attempt the extra point, but you've been saying it, partner. Establish the run. It'll allow the play action pass to be effective.
It's like opening up that jar of spaghetti sauce. You can't get it twisted, but once it budges, it's opening right up.
(17-14), Troy Williams throwing the touchdown pass, and the Utes are 2nd in the nation in time of possession, averaging close to 36 minutes per game. That drive, 13 plays covering 75 yards. Joel, they eat up 6:43.
If you were to ask Kyle Whittingham, he'd say that's Utah football. That's what we want to do.
First lead of the game for Utah. Down 14-0 early. But remember, this is a tough, gritty, physical football team. Hayes Hicken will send it away. John Ross back deep. Now, Jake Browning comes back on the field with a deficit. This one sent deep into the end zone for a touchback. Jake Browning, only a sophomore. Wise beyond his years. Back on the field for Washington right after this. And don't forget, coming up next, the Kansas Jayhawks take on Baker Mayfield and the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Then at 11 Eastern, it's Stanford against Arizona. That's all starting next, right here on FS1, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Washington with the football at their own 25, down 17-14. After taking a 14-0 lead, the Utah defense has had answers for Jake Browning. Daniels the motion man. Play fake. Browning rolling, throwing. Daniels with room. Daniels down the sideline. Daniels finally out of bounds as he crosses the 40. Jordan Fogle knocks him out of play. But a nice game for Darrell Daniels of 19 yards.
This offense is so eclectic because they can hurt you in so many different ways. You know, it's so difficult to game plan from a defensive perspective because they can run it with Myles Gaskin. Jake Browning had a great half, save for the interception, and then they've got weapons on the outside.
First down and 10 of the 44. Gaskin, the single setback. They give it to him, running left. Finds a hole. Gaskin, look at the shiftiness. And he'll get to the Utah 40-yard line. A 16-yard pickup. Reginald Porter makes the tackle.
Check out the true freshman, Nick Harris. He's going to be double teaming with the center, and then he's going to spin all the way off and block the linebacker. What an excellent job by a young offensive lineman from Inglewood, California, 6'1", 270, with the big block of the play.
Gaskin, 11 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. 1st and 10 at the 40. Gaskin, stutter step, spinning, breaks away at the 30, hits the sideline, and finally pushed out at the 15. This kid is special. Myles Gaskin.
Asked him what's the best trait that Gaskin possesses. It's his ability to make people miss in tight quarters. That's what great running backs has. Sunia Tautioli has him dead to rights in the hole, and the spin gets himself off and free and all the way down the field. What an answer here from Washington. It's a heck of a drive so far.
12 carries, 100 yards for Gaskin. 4th straight game with 100. Levon Coleman comes in. 1st down to the 14. Coleman. And he'll lean forward and get to the 9. Hayden Clegg with the stop.
Boy, this offensive line has done a heck of a job, and they're without their senior leader up front. Jake Elderkamp, the left guard, not playing. In his place, number 56, the true freshman, Nick Harris. Got Trey Adams in there, 72. 76 is Coleman Shelton, the center. McGarry, Bracedeck as well. Done a heck of a job in the run game.
Nothing tricky about what Washington is doing now. This time Coleman running right. Breaks it back, hops forward, and crawls to the 4. Justin Thomas defensively for Utah.
And the extra yards that Coleman got as Washington now will try to get a little tempo and go fast.
3rd and 1 at the 5. Low snap handled by Browning. He'll fire it in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, John Ross. His 2nd of the day. And the Huskies answer.
And they answer emphatically. How about John Ross? What concentration. Ball is on the money. Tips off his hands and right back to him as he spins around for his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Cameron Van Winkle comes in to attempt the extra point. And it's good. 21-17. Myles Gaskin. And then John Ross. We got a ball game in SLC. Washington trailed for only 2 minutes and 41 seconds. John Ross was his 2nd touchdown of the game to give the Huskies a 21-17 lead.
Touched on his comeback from injury from 2013 to 2015. Remember, he lost all of 2015, only 33 catches and 5 touchdowns. But this year he is healthy, he's explosive, 37 catches, 11 touchdowns on the year. And this guy could not wait to get back on the field. When talking to him this week about his rehab, he said, I attacked my rehab. I wanted to get better. Once the trainers told me that after my ACL surgery, I would become a better, even faster player, I knew that was going to be my sole purpose, and he attacked that rehab, and he's come back. He's terrific.
Moscato sends it away. Folks is the deep man. This went into the end zone for a touchback. All right, let's head to Los Angeles for Game Break with Mike Hill.
Baylor is 8th ranked, undefeated, taking on Texas. Seth Russell finds KD Cannon for the score. Texas leads this one 23-21 at the half. You know, Bears still haven't played a ranked team this season. We'll see how that plays out with the committee, even if they do come back and win this game. Gus and Joel.
Thanks, Mike. You know, the same discussion that the committee on Tuesday or through this weekend as they're going to drop the first rankings. As we look at the offensive leaders for Utah. Joe Williams, 25 rushes, 124 yards. But the same discussion, Gus, that they're going to have around Baylor, and their schedule will be had around Washington, in particular in their non-conference.
On 1st down, Williams running it straight ahead. He'll get to the 30, make it the 29.
And that's why I don't believe Washington has any margin for error when talking about the college football playoff. The rankings will be released this Tuesday, November 1st. But that non-conference schedule is going to hurt Washington just like it hurts Baylor. That's why I don't believe with one loss they're going to be able to sneak through. They've got to win all of these games.
They played Rutgers, Idaho, and Portland State. Troy Williams underneath, that ball thrown low, but caught. Tim Patrick dug that out of the turf like Derek Jeter.
At 6'5", you don't think he can go down and get that, but boy, what an athletic catch from Tim Patrick, and you can tell he's much more healthy than he has been in recent weeks. He was used last week more in a blocking capacity, but goes all the way down below his knee and gets a first down.
3 catches, 30 yards for Patrick. First down for Utah at their own 37. Williams. Joe Williams gains 4 on the play.
And even when it doesn't look like much is there, both of these teams, their running backs, whether it's Myles Gaskin or Levon Coleman for Washington and Joe Williams for Utah, even when it's not blocked perfectly, they're getting 4 and 5 yards. It's a mark of great running backs.
2nd and 6. Williams again. High stepping. And he's down at the 44. Stopped on the play by Jalen Johnson and DJ Beavers.
And this is a little departure here from Washington. They don't like sending pressure, but they're going to have to. And on this play, they're getting the safety way up near the line of scrimmage. That's Budda Baker, and they're trying to sell out to stop that run game because of the effectiveness of Williams in this ball game.
So now 3rd down and 3. Do they put it in the air? Is the question. At the 44-yard line. Trips to the top of your screen. Troy Williams looking over the middle and incomplete. Damari Simpkins, the intended receiver.
And the coverage from Sidney Jones from all the way on the opposite side, that had to look wide open for Troy Williams. But the problem is that Sidney Jones, 26, once his man left his zone, he went screaming towards the middle of the field and ended up being what I thought flashed in front of Simpkins' face, and why Simpkins pulled up a little bit, smartly so.
Wisnowski punting for the 5th time. Dante Pettis, the returner. End over end kick. High in the air. Ball takes a bounce backwards. Terrific job by Mitch Wisnowski. A 48-yard punt down inside the 20. 21-17. UW with the football right after this. And don't forget to check out Breaking the Huddle with my main man and partner Joel Klatt on Facebook. Live every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern. Sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Can't wait for this week. We'll be on 30 minutes after the first college football playoff rankings are released. We'll have full reaction, and can't wait for that. I mean, this is the nitty-gritty time of year, right? I mean, 3 touchdown drives for Washington answering. Utah, 3 of those 75 yards or more today, and they're backed up once more. And Jake Browning has been terrific, but it's been the run game, Gus, that's gotten going.
First down and 10 at the 7-yard line, and they hand it off to Gaskin. Another big chunk of yardage for Myles Gaskin as he is wrapped up by Chase Hansen crossing the 10-yard line.
You don't see this often. You know, Utah is normally so good stopping the run, but right now Washington is having their way up front, and they've clearly found something coming out of the locker room at halftime where they know they can win those battles, and they're establishing this run game in this 3rd quarter.
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Gaskin again, and another big run. Look at that spin. Woo. This kid is shifty. Cody Barton had to hang on to bring him down.
Chase Hansen, I feel for you, man. 22 for Utah. It's going to come in there, right? Oh, he's all of a sudden grabbing a big old handful of air as Myles Gaskin spins by him.
A 16-yard gain. 1st and 10 of the 28. Miles again. Miles Gaskin, look at him. Just biting off huge chunks. Jordan Fogle with the tackle, but that's a 14-yard gain.
I mean, they're just doing whatever they want. First, the true freshman gets the block. Then they're going to loop the center around to pull. So 56, Nick Harris, he gets the block. 79, Coleman Shelton, he's out there blocking Sania Tauzioli, and they're out the gate. Miles Gaskin not getting touched until he's 6, 7, 8 yards down the field.
15 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown for Miles. 1st and 10 at the 42. Gaskin breaks it back with room. Here comes Gaskin, and he's tackled at the 41-yard line. Chase Hansen, Jordan Fogle combining. And what's interesting is that Utah's known for their front seven.
And they're just getting washed down. There's 56, Nick Harris. This guy is as good of a true freshman as I've seen. There's the cutback lane as Tauzioli overruns it from his linebacker position. Gaskin with great vision. But I got to tell you, this 56, Nick Harris, the left guard, it's as good as a left guard as a true freshman I've seen in a long time. He is owning it up front.
1st down and 10 at the 41. Browning to throw it this time. Looking in the air and incomplete. McClatcher, the intended receiver.
Browning is going to get absolutely throttled as he lets it go. Chase Hansen comes back, probably still angry that Gaskin left his shoes back on the 15-yard line and just unloaded on Jake Browning. Still almost completed that pass, but wasn't as accurate as we normally see from Browning because of that pressure.
2nd and 10 at the 41. Levon Coleman in at running back. They give it to him. Running left. Breaks it inside. And Coleman gets close to the 1st down. He needed to get to the 30. Chase Hansen again with the tackle. Will be about a yard short.
I'll tell you what, this is an impressive offensive line performance. I thought we were seeing something impressive last week when Utah was owning the UCLA Bruins up front, but this front seven for Utah, I've never seen them manhandled like this in a game.
Exactly.
Washington's front has been remarkable in this 3rd quarter.
The Washington offensive line sending a challenge back to Utah, saying, oh, you want to fight us in the gutter? No problem.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
And welcome back to FS1 College Football, presented by Verizon. Start of the 4th quarter.
Wild swings and momentum. Washington had it early. Utah came back, grabbed the lead for a moment, but now the Huskies on the march again.
3rd down and 1. Levon Coleman in the backfield, out of the pocket. Delivers, caught, and a 1st down at the 30. Dante Pettis, one of their leading receivers. He's been quiet today, gains 3 yards, but running the football. Washington in the 3rd quarter alone, 9 carries, 112 yards, led by that man.
You know what's coming, because 27 rushes, 202 yards, 107 before contact. So you're going to have to sell out from the safety position if you're Utah. You know what's coming?
Play action
pass down the field. John Ross, this is a perfect time for it.
1st down and 10 at the 29. They hand it off to Coleman. And Coleman dragged down inside the 25 by Chase Hansen. Tell you what, this Chase Hansen is a tough guy.
He sure is. This is a guy that was a quarterback in high school, a parade All-American, all-purpose player. His dad, Bruce, played football at BYU. His cousin, Colby, currently plays for BYU. He's from Highland, Utah, a sophomore. Very athletic, leads the team in tackles. And he's going to have to play a huge role here in inserting himself into this defense to stop the run.
2nd and 5 at the 24. Coleman breaks 1 tackle but won't gain much. Maybe a yard on the play. Hunter Demick And you were really funny yesterday talking to the defensive coaches about Hunter Dimick's lower body.
You know, Hunter Dimick, he doesn't look all that impressive when you meet him in person, but on film, he is a nightmare for the offense. He's got great energy. This is the point in time that they need him. Number 49 for Utah, leads them in sacks and TFLs, and on third down, this is his moment.
Third down and 4 at the 23. Gaskin back in the game. Browning looking, goes for the home run. Ross! And incomplete. Brian Allen defensively for Utah.
Great coverage for Brian Allen. Love his frame, 6'3", 205. He's got 4 interceptions on the season. He's a former wide receiver, and that's why he's so fluid down the field. You can see he almost plays defensive back as if he's running the route for the wide receiver.
So Cameron Van Winkle, 6 of 9 on the season. His long 45 yards, this one from 41 yards away. And he drills it. Huskies take the points. 24-17, 12:56 to go. Fourth quarter. The 1991 Washington Huskies were arguably the finest team in school history. After going undefeated, they split the national championship with the Miami Hurricanes. Players like Steve Emtman, Dana Hall, Mario Bailey, and Ed Cunningham all played an important role. Don James, the Dog Father, won the Football Writers Association of America Coach of the Year award. Is this the beginning of the Dog Father Part 2? Vito Corleone.
Vito, listen, this has all the makings because Chris Peterson recruits so well to his system with his type of guys. I could see him having a pocket or a run of success here at Washington for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even decade, Gus. They've certainly got it going this year. Going to be right in the thick of things when the rankings come out on Tuesday and have the one-score lead here.
Huskies send it away. Kyle Folks in the end zone. And he'll take it in. Let's go to L.A. Mike Hill for an update.
Hey guys, 6th-ranked Ohio State may still be feeling the aftermath of that Penn State loss. Northwestern sticking with them. Clayton Thorson to Garrett Dickerson, tying the game at 17 in the 4th. Gus and Joe, I don't have to tell you, Buckeyes have lost back-to-back games only once under Urban Meyer. We'll keep you posted on this one.
Yeah, they've got something going on there for Ohio State. They have an inability to move people off the line of scrimmage. That offensive line has not been very good. And J.T. Barrett can't get the ball down the field. They gave up 6 sacks against Penn State, and now Northwestern jumping on them in the shoe.
First down and 10 of the 25 for Utah. Troy Williams steps up, flag on the play. Williams gets downfield and falls down at the 45, but this may be a holding call against the Utes.
Yeah, I think they're going to get the center 75. We've been giving him a lot of love too.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And you got to give Elijah Qualls, number 11, a lot of credit because Nick Nowakowski has no other option. Qualls, he bull rushes him, and right here, it's going to be a sack unless Nowakowski throws him to the ground and negates that long run from Williams and puts you in the situation now where the run game isn't as viable at 1st and 20.
Those interior linemen for Washington, 6'5", 332, 6'2", 318, 6'1", 321. First down and 20 at the 15. Joe Williams over the middle. No, this is Tim Patrick. And Patrick with a huge gain as he crosses the 35 up to the 36, a gain of 22 on 1st and 20.
And he is finally healthy. He has not been healthy the last couple of games, and he wins on the outside. This is against Sidney Jones, coming in as one of the Pac-12's best corners. The NFL scouts loving him, and that ball on the money from Troy Williams, allowing him to run after the catch. Timing plus ball placement equals yards after the catch. Executed perfectly there.
First down and 10 at the 37. Williams to throw it to the sideline. And incomplete. Raylon Singleton, the intended receiver. Troy Williams telling us that having to transfer from Washington was one of the toughest things he's ever experienced.
To go to Santa Monica Junior College, said he made 8 bacon and cheese sandwiches to take to school, and on days that were really good, his mom, where he was living, would make him a tuna sandwich, and he said that's when I knew it was a good day.
2nd and 10 at the 37. Joe Williams. Oh, and he is gobbled up immediately. Azim Victor says, I'm about tired of you running the ball up and down the field.
Here he comes. So here's Victor, and he's going to come and he's going to shoot the gap all the way on the left side. See how he goes over the top, and then right there, missed block by Garrett Bowles, 72, who was pulling around, didn't get his hat on anybody, and allowed Victor to scrape right by for the tackle.
3rd down, 10 at the 37.
Got to look for Patrick if you're Utah. Tim Patrick actually.
Here's Troy Williams to throw it. Steps up in the pocket. At ball deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. And a flag on the play.
I think they're going to get Sam Wuching here for potentially a little unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer after the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 28. He threw the quarterback down unnecessarily. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Okay, so Wuching is coming from his outside linebacker spot, and as he's working up the field, he's going to go back inside when Williams scoots up in the pocket, and then right here, he throws him down to the ground. They say unnecessarily. It wasn't necessarily violent or all that vicious, but did throw him down to the ground late. And a mistake there for Washington. Chris Peterson, he knows it. Going to be frustrated with his senior outside linebacker.
So the Utes get a fresh set of downs inside Washington territory at the Husky 48. Joe Williams will get down to the 42. Connor O'Brien.
First down is so imperative for Utah because when they're in 3rd and long, they have had an inability to throw the ball. And these first down runs are what are allowing them to have success. Joe Williams has got to touch the ball on first down. The problem is that he's got 30 carries already, and they're a little concerned giving him too many touches. Like a pitcher in baseball with a pitch count, he's up there right now, and they don't want to give him too many more.
30 carries, 138 yards. Near side, this ball caught by Simpkins. Breaks it, and Simpkins slides down at the 35. First down, Utah.
Damari Simpkins, just a true freshman from Carroll City, Florida. He's got good blocking on the outside from the other wide receivers. Moiai's the tight end. There's a great block right there and allows him to get inside. Good move on Wuching, getting some more yardage, and he goes down once he's got the first down.
First down at the Washington 36. Williams stutter stepping, breaks it, and gets to the 24-yard line. First down, Utah. A 12-yard gain, but his feet, he kept chopping his feet, Joel.
Second effort will always be rewarded from the running back position. He bounces it outside to the left and then continues to move his feet once he's contacted. This guy picks up a big first down. You can just hear the physical nature of the game.
31 carries, 150 yards for the retiree, Joe Williams. First down, play fake, Troy Williams fires, caught, touchdown Utah, Moiai. What a throw by Troy Williams.
That's as good of a throw as you're ever going to see. This is a tight window throw to a tight end. Troy Williams is going to scoot up in the pocket. Look at this. Oh, there's nowhere to throw it. and he puts it right in the needle. Troy Williams. Oh, my goodness.
Phillips with the extra point. We are level at 24. Utah, led by their junior college transfer who once upon a time wore purple and gold.
Here's some of the players to keep an eye on for the Nissan Heisman. Watch Jabril Peppers, the quarterback right here in this game. Jake Browning has been sensational, and Lamar Jackson, the marvelous, looked like he was about to go down for the second time this year earlier, and then comes right back in kind of a Heisman moment. And speaking of Heisman moments, as we look at Dalvin Cook and Deshaun Watson also on that list, because this is a stage and a Heisman moment on the road against a ranked team, and Jake Browning in a tie game about to take the field in the fourth quarter.
Hayes Hicken will kick it off. John Ross, the deep man. And he will not get an opportunity. So, Jake Browning walks back on the field. Remember how they used to call Joe Montana Joe Cool?
Joe Cool. We'll see how cool Jake Browning is. 10 of 17, 155 yards and 2 touches so far in this game. This guy eats, sleeps, and breathes the game of football.
But more than that, Joel, he's got that it thing. He's got it.
Well, if you have it needs to show up right now.
First down and 10 at the 25. Browning to throw. In trouble. Scrambles. Throws on the move. Caught at the 35 by John Ross. And it goes out of bounds at the 40.
The best part about a wide receiver that understands what his quarterback is trying to do is one that can break out of his route and get into scramble rules right away. He's on an intermediate route, and he immediately works on a parallel level, and he says, my quarterback's in trouble. I'm going to get some space and get open. Ross makes the play there for Jake Browning.
Thinking with the same brain. First down and 10 at the 40 after the 15-yard pickup. Browning hands it off. Gaskin follows his block and goes out of bounds for a 1-yard gain on the play.
This run game has been so good and so effective. Washington is going to have to force Utah to stop them before they go and just start pitching the ball down the field, because remember, the strength of the Utah defense is their ability to turn it over in the pass game. 15 interceptions on the year. They've already had one in this ball game. I'd stick with the run if I was the Huskies.
No Marcus Williams, the best safety in the nation. 2nd and 8 at the 42. Browning looking, steps up, wants to run it, and he'll go down at the line of scrimmage. They say he fumbled it.
Well, it looked like that right knee was down.
On the field as the runner was down.
Pisoni Tassini is 59. That right knee is going to be hitting the turf. Control still clearly with Browning. Excellent call by the officials as the ball pops loose just after that knee hits the turf.
So a big 3rd down and 9.
The runner was down. The previous play is now under replay review.
This is something that Utah talks about constantly every time we've had a meeting with them. And Gus, you and I have met with this coaching staff now 6 times in the last 2 years. And every time we talk with their head coach Kyle Whittingham and defensive coordinator Morgan Scaley, they talk about arriving angry, battering the ball carrier in order to get the ball onto the ground. Now, this one I don't believe is a fumble. That knee hit the ground first, but this is the type of mentality that the Utes love to have.
And I love having an opportunity when Morgan walks into the room.
After review, the ruling on the field of the runner being down with his right knee on the ground is confirmed. Third down.
He always comes in as we take a look at Kyle Whittingham. Coach Staley always comes in, and he's got the most beautiful, expensive Italian loafers that you'll ever see.
That's right, he's a shoe guy.
Third down, 9 at the 41. Does he dial up pressure here, Joel?
I think he's got to. If Browning has time, he's picked them apart.
Browning with time, steps up on the move and caught at the 45-yard line by tight end Drew Sample. And a first down for the Huskies. A 16-yard gain.
Cross, Hunter Dimick is going to flush him from the pocket right here, and as he moves up, his eyes stay down the field, and his wide receivers always are working to open spaces. They work to open spaces because they know number 3 is going to find him. He had way too much time to operate, and as a result, he moves the chains.
First and 10 at the 43. Gaskin in now. They give it to him, and he's tackled before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Nicely done. Lua Fatasonga.
Kavika Lua Fatakasonga is right here. He's coming around the edge, right down what I would call the heel line. See how he gets flat and then he runs right down what I just call the heel line. The heel line is the heels of the offensive line. Great job by Lua Fatasonga.
Second down and 12 at the 45. Browning hands it off, and again, this time it's Hunter Dimick with the great defensive play. So that brings up third down and long. A loss of 2 and a loss of 1 on the last 2 plays for UW.
Dimick does a great job of getting upfield, and then he just stops right there. That's what I would call is owning the edge. Terrific on the edge from Dimick, forcing a long yardage situation.
Third down and 13 for Coach Peterson. But his quarterback, Browning, has incredible feet, incredible anticipation.
It's going to be an interesting call.
Offside, defense number 50 in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, third down.
So Talmoi Pinu is going to come up the field, and that's what makes 72. See, Trey Adams jumps, but only after Talmoi Pinu is in that neutral zone. Good call by the official there.
Huge play here for both teams. Third and 8 at the 41. Browning with pressure, got hit, incomplete. Woo! Talmoi Pinu, shot out of a cannon.
They're going to do a great job of putting Trey Adams in the bind, inside and outside of him. He takes outside, and Talmoi Pinu is the senior from Provo, Utah, who's right in the face of Jake Browning and hits him before he can throw that ball accurately. Great job by Morgan Scaly dialing up the pressure there as Washington will go for it.
Browning in the shotgun.
They like to pooch kick in this situation. Watch it. Yep, here he goes. He's going to drop back and pooch kick it.
And the ball will be downed at the 1. So 5:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. 24 up. .509 to go in the fourth quarter. We're tied at 24. Let's go to Mike Hill for an update.
Hey, Gus, how about some baseball? Getting ready for Game 4 of the World Series at Wrigley. Home fans disappointed after the Cubs shut down in Game 3. Better hope those big bats come alive against Corey Kluber or risk going down 3-1 in the series. Cubs sending John Lackey to the hill. Coverage begins in about 15 minutes or so over on Fox, 7 Eastern time.
So what do? Schwarber, you got to get him in the lineup somewhere because of his stick.
He tried last night. Got sawed off and broke his bat. I mean, I think it's an interesting matchup, and with Kluber going tonight, that's a precarious spot to be in if you're the Cubs. They've waited 71 years for a World Series game. They have to wait one more game to try to score a run.
First down and 10. And running the football. It's loose. Joe Williams.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down. There's no fumble.
And he barely got himself out of the end zone.
A lot of carries for Joe today, 32.
I wonder how much is left in the tank as he just inches out just short of that 1 yard line before that ball comes loose late.
Second down and 10. Williams give him a little bit of room. Buda Baker coming up and making the tackle from a safety spot.
Yeah, this team very rarely blitzes or pressures Washington, only about 9% of the time, but they are starting to do that in this game because they have to against that run game, and Buda Baker has been the man that they've called into those pressures from his safety spot in order to cover up the edges and then crash down on Joe Williams in the middle of the field.
Third down and 9 from the 2. Troy Williams in the shotgun. 3:48 to go. Williams out of the end zone. Caught over the middle. First down, Damari Simpkins. Now they say incomplete.
I thought they were very fortunate that they didn't get a holding call in the end zone. Would have been a safety. And Simpkins, yeah, just can't hold on. Clearly an incomplete pass there over the middle. And that ball was thrown really well from Troy Williams to the true freshman Simpkins.
So now Utah will have to punt from their own 2. Dante Pettis, the deep man. Wisnowski has been terrific today, punting the football. Gets it off. Angle to the far side. Pettis will get a shot from the 42. Still running, breaks a tackle. Midfield. Pettis hits the sideline. Stays in bounds. Pettis, touchdown Huskies. 58 yards. Back-breaking play. No flags.
What a return. Broken tackles, and at the start of the return, he committed the cardinal sin. He started to retreat about 10 yards. It looked like he was going to get tackled at that point. It would have been all the way back at the opposite 40-yard line. But once he stepped out of that tackle, it was over. And Pettis returns his second punt for a touchdown of the year.
Extra point good. Dante Pettis, 17th nationally in punt returns. None bigger than this one. Washington reclaims the lead, 31-24. The 5th punt return for a touchdown for Dante Pettis, and it gives 4th-ranked Washington a 31-24 lead with 3:25 remaining.
Now he holds the Washington all-time record. Was tied when he took it back against Rutgers in week 1, but now the all-time leader for the Huskies in punt return touchdowns.
Folks from the 2 with a lane at the 30. Finally upended at the 37-yard line by Kevin King. A 35-yard kickoff return.
I want to go back to that punt return because this was a great return from Pettis. Watch him retreat. But then the Huskies are going to get awful fortunate. There's one block right here. Could have been called a block in the back. That's okay, kind of on the side. There's a second. All of a sudden, just in the back, it springs Pettis. And then a third right here that you could potentially have seen a flag. I think that's why we were so surprised that there was no flags on the ground. But as it stands, great return from Pettis and a great answer from Washington with the 58-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Utah starts first down and 10 at the 36. Troy Williams to throw it up the sideline for Patrick, incomplete. Once again covering Kevin King.
They've been talking all day long. This has been a great matchup. Just a great football game. Now with 3:10 left, you wonder how much Joe Williams has in the tank. He's carried it 33 times. Troy Williams, the school that he went to, dreams of playing the #1 dual threat quarterback out of the country, signs with the Huskies, has to go to junior college. Now he's got a chance to bring his club back and beat his old mates. 2nd and 10 at the 36.
And here's Joe Williams looking for space. Williams first down as he gets to midfield. A 15-yard gain. Tell you what, this kid, what a story. Finding himself after electing to sit out, retiring, being encouraged by his fiance.
It's as good of a 3-game stretch as I can remember.
First down and 10 at the 49. Williams again straight ahead. He plows forward.
That's his 35th carry. Puts him over 170 yards, averaging just under 5 a carry. 1 touchdown on the day. And more importantly, though, he creates, Gus, a short yardage situation here. At 2nd and 6, the entire playbook is at the disposal for Jim Harding, who's done a great job in this second half, loosening things up and allowing his offense to work on his behalf.
2nd and 6 at the 45.
False start, offense number 74. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Uwatafe.
Celesi Uwatafe, junior from Euless, Texas. It was interesting because watch, Washington's actually going to shift, but they don't go into the neutral zone. So on the shift, Uwatafe actually jumps, but that clearly on the Utah right guard. That'll knock him back 5 yards. And now this is not the situation you want. It's 2nd and long.
Troy Williams over the middle. High. Intended for Moiai. And now that brings up 3rd down and 11 with 1:54 to go. Is this 4-down territory, Joel?
You know, with 3 timeouts, that's a tough one. The hard part is they have not stopped Washington on all that consistent of a basis. It might be, a lot of it depends on this play. If they can get to a 4th and short, Gus, maybe they'll go for it. But at 4th and 11, they would assuredly punt the ball away.
3rd down and 11 at midfield. Williams steps up, fires sideline, what a throw! And catch at the 29. Tim Patrick found a soft spot, and Troy Williams put it on it.
I love the route from Patrick at the top of your screen because he's going to find the soft spot and just settle down, and then his quarterback finds him for a big completion, biggest of the day, and a 3rd down conversion that keeps him on the field.
A gain of 20 yards on the play. 1st and 10 at the Washington 30. How much gas does Joe Williams have left? They swing it out. Simpkins. And he's chopped down at the 25.
You know, as the carries have gone up, the pressure on Troy Williams has gotten greater. And as his former coach, Chris Peterson, looks on, the coach that didn't give him all that much of a chance as the #1 dual threat in the country. Only had 1 start at Washington. He's played decent today, 14 of 30, much better in this second half. 8 rushes for 39 yards. But he's going against one of the best secondaries that I've seen all year long.
2nd down and 6 at the 26. And they're going to throw it. Simpkins looking. And incomplete. Dangerous play. Raylon Singleton, the intended receiver. Sidney Jones defensively.
Great coverage, and they understood that something was up because Damari Simpkins never lines up in the backfield. That's a nature of the smart defense. You see 17 in the backfield, highly unusual, and they all stay home. Damari Simpkins tries to get the completion down the field to Raylan Singleton, and a great bad way by the secondary.
59 seconds remaining in the fourth. Utah down 31-24. 3rd and 6 at the 26. Troy Williams. Here comes a blitz. They pick it up. Williams lost it and gets it back, but he's sacked. First sack of the day for Washington. Azim Victor, Bieria combining.
You gotta love what they're able to do. They don't normally pressure. Keyshawn Bieria comes right in the middle, and it's a mix-up. Just a missed assignment there from Joe Williams as well as the left tackle Garrett Bowles. Looked like to me Bowles should have stayed inside with number 7 Keyshawn Bieria, and he let him go and afforded the opportunity to get to Troy Williams for a sack. And the ball game is going to come down to one snap here on the shoulder of Troy Williams with 52 seconds left.
4th down and 15 coming up for Utah.
If I'm Washington, I'm going to double team Tim Patrick. He has been the threat in this situation the entire game. 6'5", 210 pounds. As this defense has.
University of Utah has requested a full timeout. This will be a full timeout.
And the timeout will be extended a little bit. They've hit Evan Moiai on a couple of big completions, but when you need this amount of yardage against this secondary, I think it's got to be Tim Patrick.
Tension. Patrick has had a solid day. 5 catches, 72 yards. Troy Williams. Can he deliver the big play? They need it right now. 4th down and 15. They need to go to the 20-yard line for a first down. Williams with time, rolls out, stands strong in the end zone, and incomplete. And that may do it.
What a job from Washington. Boy, I don't understand why it was a Hail Mary. You just needed to move the chains there if you're Utah. Troy Williams ends up throwing it out of the back of the end zone. Just absolutely no chance for a conversion or even a touchdown in that situation as they go for broke here. Probably before they should have, but you got to give Washington a lot of credit. 21, Taylor Rapp is a true freshman. He's in perfect position. JoJo McIntosh, number 14. Buda Baker doing a great job. Kevin King, number 20. And Sidney Jones. I got to tell you, Gus, that secondary is as good as I've seen all year long. They were tremendous today.
Well, Browning takes a knee. Browning today 12 of 20, 186, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Gaskin, though, 19 carries, 151 yards and a touchdown. And let's take a look at the road ahead for Washington, sponsored by Coors Light. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
They'll have another road game at Cal before facing the Trojans at home up in Seattle November 12th. That Apple Cup looms large on the 27th of November out on the Palouse as this team rolls on. And I am so interested to see where the committee slots Washington on Tuesday night. I would certainly have them in my top 4. I would probably slot them right at 3. But that non-conference schedule, we'll see where the committee ends up putting them.
Browning again taking a knee.
There's not many holes on this team. And they've got playoff aspirations. First ranking's going to come out on Tuesday, November 1st. Final rankings will be December 4th after those conference championship games. Semifinals this year, the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. And that'll be on New Year's Eve before we crown a national champion. And the national championship trophy was on display here today at Utah. Partner, this Washington team looks awful tough.
They're legit.
Because this is not an easy place to play.
And when they needed it most for Washington, that offensive line dominated.
They were the ones that ended up winning this game. I came in thinking it was going to be Jake Browning. He's played so terrific. And once Utah grabbed the momentum, it was those 5 Huskies up front that stole it back. And the guy carrying the ball, Myles Gaskin.
31-24, the final. Washington remaining undefeated, 8-0, 5-0 in the Pac-12. Next up, Cal. Utah will have a bye next week and then hit the road to play Arizona State. 8-0 start for the first time in a long time.
That was a great football game.
Yes, it was.
That was a great football game. Those are 2 very good
Old school football game, Joe.
old school, well coached, physical. Heck of a win for the number 4 ranked Washington Huskies. They continue their march towards potentially a Pac-12 title and a berth in the college football playoff.
31-24. Jake Browning. You impressed?
I was. Because after the mistake, he came right back, played a very composed game after he threw that interception.
Let's go downstairs to Shannon.
Coach, a great game, but basically we're all going to be watching that Dante Pettis run. Special teams play by him really sealed the deal for you guys. How does the focus and drive that you saw out of him basically describe your entire team this season?
Dante's he's a heck of a player. Made a couple guys miss. You know, they got a really good punter, obviously. And we couldn't get anything done, and you know, we made a couple guys miss, and guys were blocking up front, but a lot of credit to Dante.
The college football playoff rankings come out on Tuesday. No hype, just facts. What message does this win send to them?
We got 4 games, 4 or 5. I don't even know what it is. I know we play Cal next week. We're ready to play there.
One game at a time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, the final score here in Salt Lake City. UW 31, Utah 24. The Huskies keep it moving. Undefeated. 8-0, 5-0 in conference play. Partner, your final thoughts on this one?
Great team win from Washington. All facets of the game contributed, including Dante Pettis in the special teams. This is a tough place to win, in particular when Utah is playing well, which they were, and they're running the ball well. You got to hand it to the Huskies. That's one of the top 4 teams in the country.
31-24, the final right now. Let's go to Norman, Oklahoma for the Kansas-Oklahoma game.